I don't have any beans. Do you have any beans? I can't think of any beans, but Bitcoin good? I got a million beans and they're pouring out of me, okay? They're pouring out of my pores. What's a good ecosystem to get into besides the major one, which would probably be L1s and L2s? And also, let's get rid of AI. What's a ecosystem you're interested in for a DCA strategy?
Like a niche, basically, is what you're saying. Outside of your typical, like, going down Ethereum,
Outside of L1,
Cardano.
L2s, and AI, like probably the big three right now. What
My
niche are you
my
going into?
my big niche, and this is really one that I think is going to do well for most of this cycle, is decentralized exchanges. Not, self custody exchanges where you're not using third party. What it's not like
Okay.
Coinbase, Gemini, Binance, a lot of the big ones that people know. This is more like, especially ones with derivatives on it, like GMX, Velas Exchange, Apex Exchange, a lot of those type of things. A lot of them have tokens associated with them. So that's a niche I'm watching. And then you're going to see them obviously on each different chain. So there's a lot to keep up with there.
GALA. Boomer. All right, here we go. Clicking on GALA. I know, what were they all time high? About 10x from here, maybe? Wow, a lot higher than that. It's coming in at 4 cents, and it's looks like it hit 70, 75 maybe. So close to a 20x from now, 18x. It will be a little bit tough to reach those all-time highs just because of the amount of tokens that are out. I don't know their daily emissions, but I do know there are tokens being added. There's a lot of GALA nodes, and those GALA nodes represent selling pressure. But that being said, it's okay to not get an 18x. There's still a 10x is still good, a 12x is still good, and 8x is still good. I think all of those numbers are very doable, and I think an 18x is possible. So I think it could touch all-time high, but I think it would look similar to XRP chart where the cycle tops are going to be somewhat close. I wouldn't expect any. The next cycle top is 10x the previous cycle top. That might be a little bit of a moonshot. That would be 180x. Maybe that's a little unrealistic to expect when the market cap's this big, but I think 18x possible, 8x. I don't want to say likely, but I would not be surprised of an 8x for GALA at all. Would you?
No.
I mean, that seems, I don't want to say conservative, but that doesn't seem moon math whatsoever.
We can see Bitcoin's having a little bit of a pause moment at that macro resistance, but we're seeing a little bit of uptick here on the altcoins. So does this mean altcoins are about to pop? Maybe not necessarily in this exact moment, but we are seeing across the board. This Cardano, we had that same sort of setup with the BitLab trading stack. We had this way outside of the zone. We had bullish divergences, finding support in the EMA ribbon, a neutral here on the significant movement. This is on Cardano. We see also GRT breaking, attempting a breakout here, the falling wedge. We see Algorand making moves. We see also it's still in a bull flag, a bull pennant. Is it about to pop again? Well, studies show that, that with this bull pennant, we very well could have a target to the upside here, pushing up above 65, up into the 68-cent range.
There's like you say, not guaranteed.
A lot of bullishness.
Kelly, do you happen to know the statistic is for bullish flag pennants is about 70% to the upside, 80%, 60%. What's the percentage to the upside, roughly?
It's roughly about 68%, but I want to point out that number is also derived from traditional assets. Now it's only starting to include these alternative digital assets. And the reason I point that out is digital assets have such smaller market caps that I do want everybody to be prepared. If you do see a structure like this, although it might have a 68 to 70% upside probability of breaking out, there's a high frequency of having a fake out to the downside only to continue the upside. So do not emotional trade right now. Wait for confluence of indicators. And you know what? I got to say it. Come check us out over at BitLab Academy on the YouTube and get involved on our website because we are about to launch the new site with a bunch of the new courses. Everybody here in the stream, BitSquad 15 on the website for 15% off your first month. Get involved and just be patient. Let the markets play out. That's all I got to say.
All right, let's talk about Black Swan. Oh God, Taleb and Jordan Peterson clash over Bitcoin. This guy just loves, fighting all the Bitcoin maxis on Twitter. Nassim Nicholas Taleb, the Lebanese American economist known as the author of the book The Black Swan, started a quarrel yet again on Twitter with the Canadian professor of psychology, Jordan Peterson, also former coma recipient, over Bitcoin's possible capability to ease monetary issues. This guy's he reminds me of like a young smart Charlie Munger. Charlie Munger is smart. He's like a young Charlie Munger. He's just like he was doing so much trading in the 80s and 90s. I feel like he's maybe stuck in an echo chamber, or maybe he has confirmation bias. I think is the best thing to say there. I think Taleb has a lot of confirmation bias because this is how it was in the 90s, and I was super successful. And well, guess what? It's a new economy. It's a new world. It's a new age. And I don't think he's doing the correct equations there as we transition into this new age. He disagreed with Peterson and warned inexperienced investors not to follow his guidance. He went further, claiming that the Canadian belongs to the Bitcoin cartel. I do not feel compelled to jump in and explain that Peterson talking about finance is slightly less sophisticated than a committee of anti-vax Canadian truckers lecturing on quantum field theory. But I need to warn the young victims that Peterson is owned by the Bitcoin cartel. Guys, he's owned by the Bitcoin cartel. I own him. You own him. We all own him. Satoshi owns them. That's all bullcrap, okay? Maybe the guy just sees the writing on the wall. Have you ever thought about that? Bitcoin fixes this. Let's just click on the tweet here. Was he quote tweeting anybody? Yeah, so he was quote tweeting Wall Street Silver, saying the end of cash is near. They're trying to go all digital, then bring in the central bank digital currency to be programmable so they control how you spend your money. I don't see how Taleb would have any counter to Bitcoin fixes this. It doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like there's maybe some sort of disconnect. I think he doesn't like people buying the top. Maybe he's just looking out for retail. Subsequently, he maintained that it's wrong to view Bitcoin as a safe haven since it responds to liquidity exactly like other bubble items. I don't know, in the beginning of their life cycle, though, but I feel like this isn't a tulip. This is maybe a little bit better. And if you look at it as maybe new commodities, maybe there's some different analogies you can draw from it. But to me, Bitcoin, it has 4-year bubbles, but Bitcoin is not a bubble. Bitcoin is not a fad. Bitcoin is not a fluke. Bitcoin is real. Its immutable ledger technology is real. Its impact is real. And the future is unknowable. But to me, I feel like it's just going to be more of an impact as we move forward, not less of an impact. Removing cash, printing money into oblivion, and potential worldwide conflicts are all leading to beans on the Bitcoin good pile. The beans were Bitcoin bad. I don't have any beans. Do you have any beans? I can't think of any beans, but Bitcoin good, I got a million beans and they're pouring out of me, okay? They're pouring out of my pores. All right, let's move on. Talk about Space Force. The major tells U.S. to stockpile Bitcoin as a weapon of self-defense. I don't know if they're the most forward-thinking of all the armed branches, but maybe. According to Lowry's Soft War, Bitcoin's proof-of-work system could function as a less destructive avenue for power competition in the cyber domain. It could be similar to the role played in chess matches in the Olympics during the Cold War era. Well, we do have a lot. The major's thesis calls for the U.S. to stockpile Bitcoin and cultivate a domestic Bitcoin mining industry. It also calls to extend the Second Amendment protections to the technology, treating it as a weapon of self-defense. Too bad we couldn't copy China and do this 10 they did. That would have been cool. For his vision to gain traction, Crypto proponents will need to overcome these bureaucratic and political obstacles. This may include engaging in public discourse, lobbying, and working with lawmakers who understand the benefits of embracing blockchain technology, unless their name is Nicholas. Wait a minute, that's my name. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Speaking of getting dark, we have this anti-crypto army.
Boo.
Boo. Yeah, very nine energy with that stuff. They're facing opposition in the U.S. Of course, we're talking about the bank and broad, Senator Warren, seeking bipartisan support for a bill imposing tougher anti-money laundering restrictions on digital assets. A letter from these people, the presidents of Club for Growth, Americans for Tax Reform, and Freedom Works, respectively, to Senator Marshall, criticizes his support for Warren's efforts to impose new regulations on digital asset companies. These groups argue that these regulations will stifle innovation, punish job creators, and drive investments away from America. They're actively working to recruit Republicans to join in regulating the crypto industry. That's where you saw a lot of people screenshotted the one part. I think it's actually kind of early in it. I don't know if we have sound right there. Yeah, it's like building an anti-crypto army with like very strong Stalin-esque vibes there. A member board of directors at Coinbase, Katie, argues that these efforts are misguided, reckless, and potentially unconstitutional. She affirms that America is on a dangerous path of closing off the banking system to those disfavored by a particular administration. Yeah, I definitely think this will be used politically. I think it will be used similar to what we saw with the Canadian truckers, where, oh, you're protesting our president or prime minister, and you know what? We don't like it. Freeze your bank accounts. Oh, you were at this rally. Guess what? We don't like it. Close your bank accounts. Meanwhile, I was going to talk about the summer of 20. Those type of riot, I don't know.
No, I mean, what you're saying though is very real threat here that hasn't been as real in the United States until recently. And again, you hear a lot of people talking about this VPN, this Privacy Act bill that could potentially make it illegal to use a VPN. We're going to see, that's a very real threat. Just like he's talking about cutting off your bank account, it will be cutting off your access to transact in certain ways, whether it's use this app, use this phone, use this service, fly, go to this place, buy from this store, so they can do a lot of things. The more this technology develops, the more complex the controls they're going to be able to put on things will become. And that's what we have to be careful of and keep an eye on, because they love to control things. They love to control you, especially if it has to do with your opinions on where they sit, whether they're voted in or out.
But like you could be, a sugar cube away from getting your foot cut off, and they're like, "Yeah, you go buy 18 2-liters of Coca-Cola."
Sure.
Oh,
no
you
problem.
can't download this messaging app.
No.
What's more dangerous? What's worse for America? Oh, you're looking out for our safety. You're really not looking out for your safety. You're looking out for control.
All right, let's see what Charles is saying.
Let's get into it. Charles Hoskin dunks on Elizabeth Warren with Michael Jordan reference. They're playing basketball in Harlem here. No, she caused a stir in the crypto community with the publication of her campaign, which included the slogan about building an anti-crypto army. Such an outburst did not go unnoticed by many major crypto figures, including Charles Hoskinson. At the time, Warren's people said that the senator would not respond to the issue, as she might appear to be siding with some crypto billionaires or company heads, even though it was about ordinary working people, Deaton recalls. The bottom line is that Elizabeth Warren cares more about maintaining her class warfare than she does about truth and justice. At first, she wouldn't help, but now she is out to hurt people. Yeah, she loves class warfare. I did buy some AGIX. It is down 33% from its all-time high. It was up to 60 cents, and now it has dropped down to 40 cents. So that means it's a 50% pump for it to reach its all-time high. If you look at it, it looks like it's, potential possibility via TA. I think now that it's cooled down a little bit, it could be poised for a second run-up. And so what I did is I went on MinSwap. I bought a little bit of AGIX, and then the same amount I staked Cardano. So I staked my AGIX and I staked my Cardano, and I'm earning rewards. It could go down. There's a thing called impermanent loss. You need to be very careful, but I'm incentivized with rewards in AGIX, Cardano, and MinSwap. So I'm getting 3 rewards, and I'm pretty bullish on Cardano DeFi. as a macro play. I'm not saying, you know, any short pumps in there. So I'm bullish. So that was what I did with my AGIX. Do what you want if you're going to buy it. But I just want to share. I did ape in a little bit, and I aped in a little bit into Pixia as well. And that's the people who did John Wick. Still want to work with them. We might be doing something. We've talked about it before, AJ.
No, that's cool though. Not only did you get some exposure to that, but you also put it to work, you know, and sharing kind of what you have
I
going.
mean, like my monkey, I looked as of 2 days ago, it earns me $13 a day in ape coin. So I
Hey.
go to sleep, I wake up, I have a couple apes. And so I'm staking, I think 5 coins on MinSwap right now with Cardano trading pairs. And so, yeah, I got 6, 7 things making money right now.
Don't sleep on that ape life.
I love aping around, man. I'm just a little monkey guy. All right.